If you're just locked in, it's Pyro Radio. Listen to Jay Fresh and Friends, the show right now. If you're a regular listener, you know that I bring some very sick DJs, sick selectors to join me in the studio and give me a very special, very exclusive guest mix. Now, this week we're joined by someone who has just dropped his debut album as a producer as well. We've got Smasher on the phone now. What's happening, bro?
Yes, mate. How you doing, Jay Fresh?
I'm really good, man. It's an exciting time for you right now. Debut album out. Congratulations, man. How's it feeling? How's the reaction going for you so far?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it is. It's an exciting time. The reaction so far has been nothing but overwhelming positive feedback.
Sick.
Just been taken back by it all, to be completely honest with you. It's always that interesting part of the process where you've, invested a lot of time, love, blood, sweat and tears.
Blood, sweat and tears, 100%.
And now it's out there, it's out of your hands. It's just see how people react to it. And so far it's just been overwhelming, to say the least. Just been nothing but positive feedback, especially from the garage community, obviously, because this is a garage album. Feels good, mate.
Good, man. That's really good to hear. Locked In, Locked On is a great name. I have to give you that, bro. It is a wicked name. So, but I have to ask the question in terms of releasing a UK garage album, original material in 2020. I know that you're not new to this. You've been heavily involved in the underground scenes for many years now. Was there any kind of reservation about how this is gonna kind of go or connect, because you want it to be new and progressive, but there's always elements of an old school kind of nod and certain sounds there? Were there any concerns about putting out a full-on UKG project? You like, you know what, this is me, this is what I do, let's just get it out there and let the people know?
Yeah, I think you're 100% right in there's not been many full garage album offerings, and it's to some people it's like garage as a sound is like a throwback thing. Do you know what I mean? And for me, I think I just wanted to just apply the change that I would like to see within that particular scene. I mean, this whole album sort of stemmed from me putting out a record last year, March, called Rolling. And I'd been sitting on that record for probably about a year prior to it being released. And that was intentionally meant to be part of a hip-hop album that I was working on. It's kind of just like refinding my sound, rediscovering myself as an artist, because I spent many years with the producer hat on, making records for everyone else. But then it was like I started freeing up and painting myself, so to speak.
Sick. And
expressing myself creatively. And like Rolling was one of them records that come out of that little batch of creativity, and that just seemed to connect. Like when I released that, the garage community was just like, wow, this is fresh. Then I started getting the nods from your EZ and all sort of the main garage DJs. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I've always loved garage from when I was like 12 years of age, coming up, buying records and as a fan of UK music. So that's always been in my heart. And then when I started to sort of do the research, I'm like, well, hang on, there's not really been many garage offerings.
No, you're right.
You've had your So Solid crew, obviously, as a collective. You've had people like Wookie, you've had people like MJ Cole. But from an artist standpoint, I couldn't really come across anyone that's done that. And obviously for me personally, it's a different angle because I make the music, I record it, I mix it, I master it. So it's like I'm like a one-man band.
Yeah. Very talented, bro.
Thank you. I can't take the full clout for that. I mean, I've worked very closely with my good friend Aaron Greenwood on this project, who's an unbelievable musician. So he's someone who's helped me craft a lot of these ideas and bring it to life. But I just wanted to apply the change that I would like to see within that genre. I would love to see more well-known MCs or put their projects out and not just be repeating their same 8 bars that they've been singing for 15 years. You know what I mean? And this is where Locked In, Locked On has essentially come from. It's been a whole organic approach. Like I never set out from the start and said, right, I'm going to make just a garage album. It was just the way, my social media, the way people was connecting with me. I was getting sort of dubplate requests for my songs from people in the States, in Seattle, Poland, Russia. Yeah, I was taken back by this, and I was like, well, hang on, this is clearly connecting with people, so I didn't fight it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't fight it. I just carried on to continue on that organic vibe and just building what felt good to me. And also, it's like I'm not in a major label situation, so I haven't got an A&R team or people saying, oh, you should do this type of record. I just do what feels right to me, and that's what this has been the outcome.
I mean, that's such an interesting backstory and insight into the project and to how you approach your work and your craft, because you can musically do what you want. There's no limitations involved, anything. And again, you said in there a few times, authentic, organic. A lot of time with music, it's the opportunity. The opportunity or the road kind of opens up and go, do you know what? This does now make sense for me to do this. It is the time to do it. You know, the energy around you and around tracks you've been putting out is all very positive. It's the natural step. It's the natural thing to do. And what you've done as well, which is pretty dope as well, is you've also attached a mini documentary to sit alongside that album as well. So was that that was something that was important for you to put next to the audio of what you put out? There's also the visual element of your story, which is so important.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the lockdown that's something that I've sort of just used that time to sort of put that documentary together. And I think, because often what I find is, like, with my sort of career and story, there's often bits that people, they like, oh, wow, I never knew that. I never knew that you produced a record on Giggs Landlord album. Oh, I never knew that you worked with this artist. And that always seems to go over people's heads. And I'm definitely not a person that will stand there and shout about it from the rooftops as well. Like, I'm quite reserved, laid back in myself. So I felt like putting something like that together would just give people a real insight into my journey and just be like, you know what, this guy just doesn't come around last year with one garage record and this is where the momentum started. This has been a 20-year journey for me, you know, to get to this stage now. So I just wanted to show people that journey through the documentary. And again, I put that all together myself, edited it myself. It was quite a painstaking task.
Okay, working out what to cut, what to keep. You know, you can't really put out a 5-hour documentary. Do you know what I mean? So that must have been 100%. A challenge.
And also, it's like people's attention span. Like, I wanted to keep it within that 10-minute limit so I could share it on Instagram TV. Obviously, it's on YouTube as well. But even to close friends of mine, it was like, oh, you've missed this out. Like, I wanted it to be 30 minutes long. I was like, wow, you know, even to get into that 10-minute stage and tell a story and take you on a little journey. But hopefully that will shed some light to people on some things that they may not have been aware of that I've been involved with or the journey that's sort of brought me to where I am now.
Yeah, man. I think that's really important because we are in a game now where music, visual, everything is so consumed so quickly. When you have been in the game, you know, for more than a hot minute, like you almost have to subliminally remind people what you've done.
Yeah.
Not in a boasty way, because I get that vibe from this is the first time we've connected, and I get that vibe from you straight away that you're very confident in your abilities and what you do, but you're not the one to scream it out the window, you know. But you're like, well, just, you know, you might not have known that I did that, and I did work on that, and those people I was affiliated with, and I did that back then. So yeah, man, I think the documentary is a sick idea, and again, it just shows your backstory, and this shows in all the people who are interested in your music and all the dubplate requests you get from all over the globe and all these things is that people want to know more about you. And we're now in a world where people want to know your process or where you started or the equipment you have in the studio and all that stuff. Whereas again, 20 years ago, there was that element of mystique. People didn't really like to put that out there. There was the unknown. Whereas now people are like, yo, what laptop are you running? Well, what mics do you use? Even what phone do you use? Do you know what I mean? So that is very, very valuable, man. Really valuable.
No, that's amazing. No, thank you. I mean, it's just, I think it's just about, and it's using this time as well. It's like during this lockdown period, it's given me, this album's given me something to focus on, because as we've come into the lockdown, my plan was always to release this album around the date that it came out. And then, you know, with the state of what's happening, I was in two minds. I was like, well, hang on, is this the right time to go with this album now? It was kind of like, crunch time, so to speak. But, you look at the state of what's happening in the world, and I'm like, I just want to leave a catalogue of music behind. You know what I mean? When the day does come where I say, right, let me hang up the gloves now, and I've done all I can do, I want to leave a legacy in the catalogue. So it's like, in order to do that, it's very hard to just let go of music as well. Like when you've been working, it's like your baby.
You're telling me it is very, very difficult. But you know what? It's been great to connect with you today, brother. Thank you. And thank you for outlining more about the vision and the story behind that album, Locked In, Locked On, which is out now. If anyone hasn't got it, make sure you do. Also, we've got you doing a very, very exclusive. I consider myself honoured. Thank you, brother. We got a very exclusive guest mix coming from you as well, right here at Pyro. What can people expect over the next 15 minutes from Smasher?
Plenty of two-step vibes, plenty of uplifting sounds, and that locked in, locked on vibe.
Absolutely wicked. We're going to jump into the mix right now. Just before we do, social media, how can people get hold of you? How can people connect? How can people check the music, check the album, let the people know?
So the album's available on all streaming platforms worldwide, Spotify, Apple Music. You can purchase the album from our Bandcamp. Social media, I'm on Instagram as Smashergram, Facebook Smasher Official, smasherofficial.com. Just type Smasher Official and you'll find me.